Hi everyone, I want to go over your nutrient averages calculations. So you've filled in all of the data for day 1, 2, and 3. I'm just using a sample here. And you see how the spreadsheet totals the 3 days, and then there's a column that averages. So a lot of the questions that you'll see in the upcoming project assignments will be questions like, what was your average fiber intake? So you're always going to use the average column. Another question you'll be asked is, what was your average percent of goal for fiber? Again, we're looking at the average column. In this case, the intake, the actual grams of fiber on average was 14.5, which is about 58% of your goal. Remember, every nutrient, we're really striving for 100%. There are some that I highlight specifically that we want to limit intake, and so there's different questions for that, those specific nutrients. But overall, our vitamins, our minerals, fiber, we're looking for 100%. That's the goal. We get concerned when it's too low over a long period of time, which can lead to deficiency diseases. But we also get concerned if it's too high. When you're analyzing your diet, I'm asking you what the average is in grams or milligrams or micrograms, but I also want you to look at that percentage because that gives you a better idea. For those of you that don't know, well, how many grams of fiber am I supposed to be having every day? You know that 14.5 in this example is actually a little over half. It's very low, in my opinion, because you want 100% and you're only at 58. So there's room for improvement. One of the areas I want to point out in this Excel spreadsheet that you all created is also at the bottom. The bottom, I specifically wanted to calculate what percent of your calories came from carbohydrates, what percent of your calories came from fat. Now, if you go back to chapter 1, you'll remember one of our DRIs, or dietary reference intakes, are called AMDRs. And those are basically recommendations for distributing our macronutrients based on a percentage of your total calories. So you'll remember that carbohydrates, the AMDR is 45 to 65% of your calories. If I were to ask you, what was your average percent of calories from carbs? Again, you're looking at the average column. In this case, we have an individual who only averaged 35%. That is not within the desired range. And so when you're analyzing this, you're comparing it to what is recommended. Did I have too low? Did I have too much? And then what do I need to make those improvements? So that means you're going to have to know, what are carbohydrates? What are healthy carbohydrates? This is all from your book, from our lectures. So when you're analyzing, you're incorporating everything you've learned from all of your readings in the textbook as well as the Canvas course. Same with fat. The AMDR for fat is 20 to 35% of your calories. Knowing that this person averaged 44% of their calories from fat, that's very high. It's more than the 20 to 35% recommendation. Therefore, this person would say, I'm getting too much, and it's probably from these types of foods. I should probably reduce, eliminate some of them. So they could start to give more information about what they've learned from the foods they're eating and how much fat they would have. One thing you'll notice is that protein is not here. And if you also go back, there is an AMDR for protein, but we use body weight. So I will be asking you in one of your future assignments to calculate how much protein you need based on your body weight. But that is not done right now, and it's also not AMDR that I calculate because protein is very unique since it's based on body weight. The other two that I highlight here are percent of calories from added sugar, not a nutrient, so we want zero. The World Health Association kind of says less, or I should say, World Health Association says 5% or less. The United States, USDA, recommends 10% or less. All of us should be striving for zero added sugar. Although 10% or less, this is 9, this person is within the recommended guidelines, it is still kind of high. So I would be analyzing this. If I was a student, I would analyze it and note that yes, I am less than the 10%, but why not go for the World Health Organization's recommendations, which is less than 5%? So there is room for improvement in this person's diet. Saturated fat, also not a nutrient we are striving to increase. We want to lower it. It's directly related to heart disease. And we want less than 10% of our calories to come from saturated fat. On average, this person averaged 12%. So that is more than what is recommended. And it also puts them at an increased risk for heart disease. When you're looking at your diet, these are the things that are going to come up in the next couple of assignments. How much? Are you close to your goal? How many vitamins and minerals did you have that were less than 90% of recommended goals? So we're always looking at percent of goal. For some of them I will ask specifically how many milligrams of sodium, for example, did you average and what percent of goal were you at for that nutrient? We know sodium is an important nutrient, critical for your heart. It's an electrolyte. It's important for muscle contractions, nerve impulses, so it plays a lot of roles in the body, but we don't want too much. So I do ask for the average and the average percent of goal. That's all I wanted to point out on your nutrient averages calculation spreadsheet. So this is just a quick video to kind of show you what data you'll find on this, and then specifically, I'll go into each assignment so you'll know where to find other data that I'm looking for. Okay, thank you.